Hi! This is the first time I'm doing a live with my face showing. But anyway, I'm Jessica Wolf and I'm here. Stop. I'm Jessica Wolf and I'm here for the Stencils and Airbrushing live. Give me 1 second. Do you mind? Do you mind? My dogs are losing their minds. Anyway, okay, so give me just a second because I am going to pull this up on my computer as well so that I can see comments as they come in, because as I do this, you are going to be facing the opposite way. So give me a minute and I'll get that set up. Hold on, let me set you guys up first. Flip you around. Okay. Alright, let me get you a little closer with my doohickey and move that so that glare isn't too distracting. Is that dark spot too distracting? Oh, I better move it this way. Here we go. There we go. I think that's better. Okay. If you can hear me, clap twice, I guess. Give me a second. I'm lining this up on my computer. Okay, all right, now I can see your guys' comments. I'm going to turn the sound off there. I guess I should have really introduced myself a little bit better, but again, I'm Jessica Wolf. I am from Cincinnati, Ohio. I run and operate, or whatever, Wolf Treats. I do cake and cookies. My specialties are wedding cakes and logo sugar cookies. Two kind of random niches, but here we are. It's what makes me happy. Nadine is clapping twice. Thank you so much, Nadine. You understood the assignment. All right. Hi from Ohio. Tarsha, you're from Ohio. Awesome. What part of Ohio? You tell me. And I'll continue on about a little bit about who I am. Aside from baking, I am a mom. I'm a sign language interpreter. I've been doing that for 7 years. And then when COVID hit, I went down to super part-time because I just had my son. And then the whole baking thing kind of took off. So here we are. And I'm happy that you guys are here. So if you did not see the supply list that I listed, if you wanted to go through this live with me, I will talk you through that now. So first and foremost, you're going to need your airbrush machine. This one's mine. Don't notice she's a little dirty. I have the one from US Cake Supply. I really like it. Here's the pen of it, the gun of it, I guess. I really like it. From what I understand, there's not a whole lot of difference between airbrush machines. The biggest thing is that you need to take care of it. You have to clean it out. You can't let it sit there and get all gunky. That is the main thing. The other thing that you're going to need for this is stencils. So I brought a pattern stencil. I brought two kind of image stencils, which I'll get to at the end. I'll tell you how I use these. And then I have a word. I have a word mama here. This one, I think I got it from Hobby Lobby approximately 100 years ago. This one I made myself using my Cricut, and I think I used Canva to help me out with that too. And then these two I also made myself. I have a stencil holder. This is similar to the one that you could get at Cookie Countess. I had my dad 3D print this for me and then stick little magnets in there because, you know, my dad likes a good project. So, what else we have? Oh, by the way, you don't have to have a stencil holder. You can hold your stencil there. It's obviously easier with a holder. Before I had my holder, I was just using magnets. So you could just get those little circle magnets. Look, my hands are already dirty and we haven't even started yet. You can get those little magnets and like you clip, 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 and then you can just set it over your cookie. That worked okay. If you can't afford something like this yet, or you're not sure if this is for you, the magnets are great. You can get them at any craft supply store. This will be saved to watch. Correct. You will. I'm far north, about 30 minutes from Lake Erie. Oh, okay, Tarsha. And yes, this will be saved for replay later. So yeah, if you don't feel like doing it now and you just want to watch and see what the process is, absolutely do that. All right, we have airbrush colors. These are important that you check and make sure that they say airbrush. I use the brand Chef Master. I don't think I've used any other airbrush color brand because that's what it came with. That's what my machine came with, and that's what my local supply store carries. So I use this. Anyway, make sure it says airbrush. If you use gel color in these, it will clog up your machine and it's a hassle. Ask me how I know. All right. And then what else did I say to have? Paper towel, obviously. And then I have a couple different scribes here. Again, these are like cheapo. Like I got these at Hobby Lobby 100 years ago when I bought that stripe stencil. But you can use this to help you with your stenciling. I really like this one. If you could find one like this, you will love yourself forever. And then I've also got some water in a little other measuring cup for when I clean my gun out. I use this to pour in the top of it and spray it into here. Okay, I will go ahead and get started. So I actually almost had to like email Heather and say, guess what? I'm gonna have to postpone this one again because I was writing the list this morning to post it and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a cookie. Of course I don't have a cookie, and I guess I could like airbrush on a paper towel, but like whatever. Anyway, I found a cookie in my freezer. So this is a cookie I made like 2 weeks ago, and I was testing to see how it would taste after 2 weeks in the freezer. So this is perfect timing for all of us. All right, so I'm going to start with my. And sorry, I'm sniffling a little bit. I'm leaning forward here and not helping my sinuses. I'm going to start with my striped stencil here. So I find that with these stencil holders, it depends on how thick your cookie is, which side you want to use. Like I think theoretically it's supposed to be the thick side down, right? But sometimes if I'm doing these patterns, I find it helpful to me to do the thinner side down first. So that's what I'm going to do for the stripey guy. And I got little 3D printer filament stuff coming off my thing. All right, I'm going to close that over top. And I'm going to try and give you as much instruction as I can before I turn on the machine because it's loud. Like it's not super loud, but it's loud enough that I don't think you're going to be able to hear me when I turn it on. So basically you have your stencil over the cookie and you can't really see it that well. Let me take this off of here real quick. But it is pretty close to flush down here. And that's why I like to use the thin side down, but it's like holding it down for me, so it's very close. Like you can see that I'm pushing it and it's only going down a little bit. And I will show you how to kind of like troubleshoot that and avoid problems when it comes to that. Okay. All right, give me 1 second, guys. Okay. All right, so I'm gonna start with my pink. I'm gonna shake it up really good. Again, learned that the hard way. Oh no, I've already spilled it. Guys, this is just how my whole week is going, I'm telling you what. So that's why we have paper towels. I'm gonna just pick this up off the cookie. Luckily it didn't get on the cookie. Okay, so I'm just gonna rub that off. The nice thing about airbrush is that it dries really quickly. So if you do get a little underspray, if you just take the stencil off and leave it off for like a minute, it'll dry on its own. Okay, so I'm going to start with my pink here, like I said. I'll wipe this pink off now that I got pink everywhere. I also said on the supply list to wear gloves if you want, and most of the time I usually do because I end up looking like this. But I am running low, and since this isn't really for anybody and I'm not going to be seeing any clients, like I'm not that worried about it. Okay, so how I'm going to do this is I want these stripes, right? So I'm going to hold this as close to perpendicular to the table as possible. And you can see this little bucket part that you put the color into. Oh, I guess I should have showed you that. Duh. But you put your color right in here. And you can really only use a few drops. Like it doesn't take that much. Like I put way too much in here because I did it and then I forgot I didn't show you. So you want it to be perpendicular to your cookie. That way when the air blows out, it's pushing this down for you. And then that's a little bit less work. Some people use the silk screen frames where they have a frame with a tight piece of silk screen on there, and that is very helpful to hold this down. But if you know what you're doing and if you're doing it carefully, it's not necessary, okay, to avoid the underspray. So I'm going to hold this perpendicularly, whatever. And the air is going to blow the stencil against the cookie, creating kind of the tight seal here to give you those crisp lines. If they're all loosey-goosey flapping in the wind, you're going to get that underspray or overspray, depending on who you ask. And it just won't be as crisp of a line. Okay, so, oh, you know what? I didn't even decide what exactly I'm going to do with this cookie yet. But, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create like a buffalo plaid style here. So I'm going to do it one this way and flip it and do it the other way. But I'm going to try and keep the center section open because I later want to put the mama in there and I want it to be pretty visible. So that's what I'm going to do with this cookie. All right, I'm going to, it goes, yes, it goes, thank you for answering that, Courtney. Yes, the silk screen would go over stencil. So it's like a frame. It's like a big picture frame almost. And it goes, it's bigger than this stencil holder. And you would put this frame, the stencil, the silk screen, and then this. And then the silk screen is tight, and so it's holding all of this down, but it's mesh, so it's letting the airbrush go through, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn this on, and I'm going to lift this up a little bit, hopefully, so you can see my hands. I don't know if that's going to make a difference or not, but I'm going to go ahead and do this. If you don't like the sound, mute it and turn it back on in like 30 seconds. Okay, here we go. Oh, and by the way, mine at least, there are 3 settings. It's like low, medium, and high. I tend to stick with the medium unless I'm using metallics. Metallics, for some reason, are just harder to blow through the gun, and I have to use a higher setting. Okay, here we go. Test it out a little bit. Okay, it's coming through. So I am going to, and I'm going to run this way. I'm running with the lines, or I'm going to try to. Now, okay, I'm going to jump in here and say something. I am only pushing this trigger like this much. Like you can't even see how much hold on, let me try and focus it. This is how much I'm pulling the trigger. That's it. The temptation is to just go full like boom. No. Low and slow is your friend. Stay close to the cookie. Go very slow with that trigger. Because you can always come back and do another layer. And in fact, I think that that looks best versus just, you know, going whatever, like going crazy. But yeah, so just do very light pressure on that trigger. Okay, here we go again. Sometimes it's hard to get positioning around this cookie. Let's see. I'm gonna switch hands. Okay, there goes the first round of that. Like I said, I'm gonna pick this up and turn it, but I'm already looking and I'm seeing a little bit of like patchiness, so I'm gonna go back over it real quick. But like I said, I'm trying to keep this center clear because I'm gonna go in here with this word with mama. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with my second coat now. And the second coat isn't necessary, it's just that I was pretty splotchy, and so I'm gonna do it. Slow and slow. Switching hands. And I'll show you, you know, you can do this with a single scribe. You can use a fork. You can use like a boo-boo stick, something to lay flat like that. Or you can just do this and it'll mostly be fine. Nobody's gonna die. It's just cookies. All right. So still a little splotchy, but I think it's gonna be okay. So we're gonna lift this up, and that's how it looks. Let me check the comments here. Yeah, this scribe is from, I got it from Hobby Lobby a long time ago. Like back when I started, probably 2018. But I bet if you Google like 3-pronged scribe or something like that, this thing is my best friend. I don't think I could do stenciling as efficiently without it. I could still do it. But yeah, if you're not going to invest a silk screen to make your life easier, this might be helpful. Otherwise, just get the silk screen. I think they're pretty cheap. Okay, any other questions that I missed? Courtney, you are on it in here. You are my assistant officially. 10 out of 10, Courtney. And Liz, I'm seeing, oh, Tarsha, you can hear me fine. Great, thanks. Liz, yes, there will be a replay, no worries. Okay, I'm gonna go back in, and the beauty of airbrush is that it's pretty much dry. As long as you're not pulling that trigger all the way back and oversaturating the entire thing, you'll be golden. Like, this is ready for me to go ahead and turn this way so that I can do the opposite. Let's see here. So that I can do the opposite lines. Now, I'm gonna try something real quick. I'm going to flip this over to the, see, okay, this apparently is the one that's proving me wrong. I flipped this over to the thicker side down, and it's actually working better for me, I think. When I had it this way, it's kind of puffing up here in the middle, which is fine because I'm not really hitting that spot anyway. But if you are a worrier like me, you know, test out both ways. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this opposite side here. I'm always going in and testing to make sure my gun is firing properly. This sounds terrible. I'm going to get banned by Facebook. I'm just going to say the trigger, I guess. To make sure the trigger part is firing properly. Because the last thing you want is to be doing your cookie and then realize there was a clog and then it just spits out at your cookie. So I always test it really small right here on the paper towel and then I go for it. All right, here I go. Okay, and that one actually doesn't even look splotchy at all to me, so I'm going to leave it the way it is. Here we go. Aw, I love it. Aw, that's adorable. Okay, yay! Sometimes it's a surprise to see how things are going to turn out. You guys know what I'm talking about. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and clean out my sprayer. And then we are going to do the mama in a different color. I was going to do the same color, but I figured I'd show you guys how to clean out, how I clean this out. I find that the most efficient way is if you have I have this cute little measuring cup. It's like a quarter cup. But you can have just like any little measuring cup or whatever, something with a spout that's going to fit into this little bucket, right? And if you want to, you can heat up your water. I find that that is super helpful. I'm not going to do it right now just because I don't want you guys to sit here while I'm microwaving water for 30 seconds. So, okay, first thing I'm going to do is get all of this spray. You can't really see it, but there's still a couple drops left. Like this cookie, I think I probably could have covered this cookie with 1, maybe 2 drops of the airbrush color. It really goes a long way. So I'm going to turn this on and empty it out. And when you do metallics and you clean this out, it definitely use warm water because that'll help you. So I'm going to do that and dump it. I don't know why, because I just don't feel like, because this little cup part has color in it, right? And I don't feel like running it through the airbrush every single time. So I'm going to get that cup part clean, and then I'm going to run water through here. Probably like 2 or 3 times. Since my next color is purple, I'm not too concerned with it because the pink isn't going to mess up the purple. But if you were using black and then going to yellow, yeah, you're going to want to do that a couple times. So I'm going to do this again. Another thing I recommend, holding your finger or a paper towel or whatever and spraying and then going like this because it'll clean out this little part here. It's got like a little, gosh, sorry, it's not focusing. It's got like a little inner part here. So if you get water kind of like in there and to like clear it out a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Okay. All right, I think that that is good for what I need it to do. Like I said, if you're going from black to yellow or something like that, then yeah, I would probably do a little bit more. All right. I lost my other paper towel. I'm gonna go ahead and use this to clean up. I like squirted some water over here. Mind. All right, so I've got my cookie back. I'm gonna take this off. The way I clean this personally is I just have like a spray bottle of water and like vinegar. It's like a natural cleaning solution, right? So, and I just spray this and wipe it off. That's what I do. You can always just rinse it off. It's not that big of a deal. But I like the vinegar because it dries quicker. Okay, so I'm done with that one. Let me check comments again. Make sure I'm not missing anything. What kind of airbrush do I use? I use the one from US Cake Supply. I don't really know the specifications on it. I just went, that's the one that was recommended to me. So I went on US Cake Supply and hit order. I think it was $100 when I bought it back in, I guess it was 2020 when I bought it. So it's probably more now, but I still think it's one of the more competitively priced ones. I always go for a mid-range. Is there no lid on the liquid portion of the gun? No, there is not. So this is open and it's angled in a way that it should not spill. Sorry, it should not spill when you are perpendicular. I just recommend don't overfill it. Yeah, there's no lid for this. I don't think you'd really want one either because the air has to get in there to like let the liquid go down, right? All right, what else did I miss? I'm waiting for cookies to cool. Thanks, Courtney, you're the best. You're my new bestie, I think. Can you make your own colors with liquid food colors? I wouldn't recommend making your own colors. I would stick with airbrush colors because you know that they're made for these machines. These machines can be, sorry, my thing keeps going off. Girls, enough. Sorry, UPS is here. I don't usually do these during the day. Anyway, so these airbrush machines can be pretty temperamental. And if you put the wrong thing in it, or if you try to make up your own concoction, it can clog, and then you've got to deal with that, and maybe you got to like clean it out, and maybe your entire spray trigger or whatever is just done. So let me turn my sound off on my phone. I'm sorry, you guys. Okay, so I highly recommend just using the airbrush colors. They're the same price as liquid gel colors or whatever at your craft store. I think they would sell them. I don't know. I buy the big bulk boxes of them, and then when I run out of like a specific color or something, I just go to my local cake supply store. But yeah, definitely use airbrush color. I do not recommend trying to make your own situation. I don't think it'll go well. All right, here we go. I'm going to go ahead and move on. I think I answered what I could. I'm going to put Mama on there. Now let me see here if I want to do it this way. Yeah, that's like good height, I think. Wait, let me try it this way. I'm going to try the smaller side. I'm going to go with the other way. Thanks for sticking with me, you guys. Airbrushing it's its own art, I'm telling you. I definitely thought airbrushing would be super easy. Then when I actually did it, I was like, whew, it's a whole technique of its own. But once you get it, I think you're gonna love it. So that looks good to me. Sorry, there's a little glare there. Let me move you over here. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and load up with my purple. Again, shaking it a little bit, trying not to get it on my hands this time. Like, I don't understand. I'm doing one cookie. Okay. All right. I need to move on. This is why I wear gloves. Okay. I'm literally I put 2 drops in here. That's all I'm going to need. Even then, I think that that's probably going to be a lot. Okay. For this word, it's tempting to just kind of back up and go whoosh and be done with it. But I promise you, low and slow, go with the flow of the lines as much as you can, and I think you're going to do better that way. Well, I know you're going to do better that way because I've tried. Okay, here we go. I'm going to turn it back on. We're going with the flow of the word. I'm going to use this to hold down pieces because like this little part of the mama is not laying down very well. So I'm going to, well, let's do, sometimes you just have to figure it out. Okay. Oh, I didn't test it. Oh, see? That wouldn't have been good. Okay. Slow and slow. Sorry if my shadows are getting in the way. You know how it is with the harsh kitchen lighting. Slow and slow, layer that color. Okay. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to stop while I'm ahead. I was thinking about going back in there because when you look at it with the stencil still on there and you just kind of see a blob of color, you're like, oh, well looks a little splotchy. But when you take it off, you're not going to notice that. Okay. So there we go. There is my mama cookie. Now, if this were going to a customer, I would probably, actually, I have made cookies just like this before actually, but I would do like a rosette or something like that. I don't like to just airbrush. If I can add a 3D element, I like to do that. So I'll put like a little rosette with a leaf, or even if it's as simple as a border, I really like adding some sort of 3D element to the cookie and not just the airbrushing. I just think it gives it more of a polished look, less of a mass-produced look, if that makes sense. That being said, I have done just airbrush cookies. A lot of times for like logo cookies, people prefer those without any extra embellishment. So I will do that without adding any 3D element, and those clients are happier with that. Okay, so my mama cookie is done. I'm going to set her aside. I'm going to eat you later, girl. Okay, and now kind of like the bonus part of this is doing these shapes. So I don't love just airbrushing something with like this much of a gap. Like you can see I can fit my finger in this stencil. That's a pretty big gap. So what I like to do with these is just use these as a guide. So a lot of people use what do they call it? Projectors. A lot of people use projectors. I don't have a projector. I tried using one of those projector-y type apps through my phone and I failed miserably at it. So what I love to do, especially since I do kind of like, I do my sketches on my Cricut and I put the shapes on the shapes that I'm going to be designing onto the shape of the cookie, and then I take a screenshot and send those to clients for approval. So since I already have the shapes in there, I will just go ahead and make a stencil really quick to use as a guide. So I would airbrush this and then pipe over top of it. Now I have to laugh though because I literally just used this stencil for cookies this past weekend and I did not do that. So I'm like, you know, eating my own words here. But I needed a specific color for that one that I was only able to mix through airbrushing. So anyway, but I would just spray this through. Sarah will do it real quick here. And then it doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be the shape. And then have it on your cookie that you can go ahead and pipe around that and fill it in. And I have another one here I can show you. This one I did for a baby shower. Some of you guys are really good at freehanding things. That is not me. That is like, I failed art class. Like, that's not who I am. So stencils, I am the stencil queen. Like, I will tell you, I have drawers of stencils. So what I did for these baby shower cookies, first of all, they wanted these rattles, and I didn't want to go buy a rattle shaped cutter, right? Like, we've all been there. I'm not going to go do that. So I used a hexagon. And I just had the hexagon, and I put this on the hexagon. Did my quick little spray on all of them. And I can actually post pictures because I took pictures of the process. And then I just went in with my white down here, and then pink for the little bow, and called it a day. And I think they turned out pretty good. I was very happy that they were all like close to identical. Like, obviously nothing's ever perfect, but it was close enough to make my little perfectionist heart happy. Okay, so I think that's it. One last thing I wanted to show you is how I mix colors. So I'm not going to add any more to this, but I have color in here. And then say I wanted to make orange, and I had yellow and blue, but I didn't have orange. So I put my yellow and my blue in here, in the little cup thing here. I turn it on. I cover this. Ooh. You know what? I'm going to pour some water in it. Maybe you guys can see it a little better. Okay. Make sure these guys are tight down here. But I would cover this little hole, push the trigger, and it kind of mixes it up in there. You can see it bubbling up in there, and that mixes my color perfectly every time. I've never had an issue with it. So yeah, that is how you would mix your colors. And then what else? Like I said, in between colors, you want to make sure you're cleaning this out thoroughly, rinsing it out, dumping it, whatever you need to do. Then when you're done, take these off. And I'm sure you could probably take this down even farther, but I've never had a need to. But I like to take these off, and I will like microwave my water or something, and I'll just throw them in there and let them soak for like 10 minutes or something like that, and then take them out. And I should have showed you before I threw these in here. But you can get color kind of stuck in these little pieces, so you want to get in there. If you have like a straw cleaning brush or something like that, that would work great with this. I find personally that just soaking it in some water and then like taking my scribe and kind of like scraping it out and then redunking it, that works well for me. So play around with it, see what works for you. I love stencils. I don't think an order goes by that I don't use stencils on in one way or another. Even the ones that look like they'd never be stenciled, they're probably stenciled somehow. So check it out if it's for you. It's been great for me because, like I said, I failed art class. I'm not good at freehanding things, but this has really upped my game. I'm not sponsored by any of these things, but I do teach a Cricut class in the Cookie College, so I guess that's the only sponsor I have. All right, well, if you guys have any questions at all, if you're watching this on the replay, just type a comment in. If you want to tag me at Jessica Wolf, like just tag me. Then I'll for sure see it, but I try to check my notifications pretty regularly. So yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. And you buy food safe acrylic sheets. Yeah, yep, that's what I use. Yep, stencil groups. Yep, I am all about the stencils, and now that I have the Cricut, I'm like, I use stencils for everything. What about overspray? I heard horror stories of your work area having overspray and color in your nostril. Oh yeah. Like when I wipe, like it doesn't look bad right now, but when I wipe this up, I promise you there's going to be color there. It's just kind of how it is. You can make kind of a little box to go around your work area if you're concerned about it getting on like your walls or something, but I don't see it on my walls. I mean, it could be there, but I'm not that concerned with it. It's pretty easy to just wipe up. I can't say I've ever had it in my nostrils, but I could be wrong. You know what? I think I have, now that you say that. But, you know, wear a mask if you're concerned about that. Easy peasy. Yeah, and then this will come off probably by the end of the day with how much I wash my hands, but gloves are my friend. I just didn't want to use any for this. All right, thank you guys, and I will be checking the comments more to answer any questions, and I hope you guys found this beneficial. Thanks.